Light of my life. For as long as I can remember, Kelly has always been in my life. We've been friends ever since our moms introduced us to each other. Kelly has been there for every moment in my life, all the good and all the bad, and I've been there for her too. One day, something terrible happened that shattered my entire world into pieces, and also put it back together again. I was 17 years old and I was baking some cookies because baking was my hobby. Kelly was going to come over and we were going to have a sleepover. The two of us were considered lame, so we did not get invited to parties, but we did not mind because we had each other. As I was putting the cookies in the oven, I heard tires screech and scream that made my blood run cold. I ran out the door to see what was going on. My puppy had just been run over. She was lying on the ground, bleeding. I did not hear or see anything beside her. She was only a few weeks old, but I loved her so much, and now she was lying helpless on the road. I rushed to the road and went by her side. Kelly arrived a few moments later, and she helped me get myself together. The person who had run her over was still there. It was a young woman, and she was crying non-stop. She offered to take us to the vet, and we agreed. Hours later, we came back, and the news was bad. My little sunshine was no more. I curled up in bed and kept crying until my voice was coarse. And Kelly was there with her gentle voice soothing me. After a while, I just focused on the lavender scent of her sweater. She always had the same scent, and that is what I loved about her. She wore glasses, had short brown hair, and was the most gentle person that I knew. Sometimes I felt like her baby, with the way that she took care of me. It would be hours till my mom came back, so Kelly convinced me to get my nails painted by her while we waited. She was very artistic and always did the most beautiful nail art, but she refused to have any on her because she was self-conscious. And yet she was the most beautiful girl to me. So we put on some music while she did my nails. As she did that, we talked about stuff that teenagers talked about. Boys, books, etc. In her case, we talked about the girls that she liked. She had come out to me when we were 12, and I had supported her in any way that I could, because she meant the world to me, and I wanted her to be happy all the time. For a while, I forgot about Daisy, my puppy. She was good at distracting me during bad times. Then my mom came home and called for us. We came down, and as soon as I saw her, I started to cry. You know what it's like when you see a parent after something bad has happened to you. You cannot stop the tears flowing. She consoled me and told me that Daisy was in a better place. I wanted to believe her, but it did not make the pain any better. All I could think about was holding Daisy's soft paws while I fell asleep. Eventually I calmed down and we had dinner. I told everyone that I was going to have an early night because I was so sad. Kelly came after me when we went to my room, and we cuddled like we did when one of us was going through something. I felt safe in her arms. She pulled away and looked into my eyes. I know you love Daisy, she said. Yeah, she was my first pet, I sighed. He loved you too. Sometimes the ones we love are taken away from us and we have to carry on without them. I know, and I will be with you throughout everything because I love you, she said. Then she kissed me. Her lips were so gentle as if she was afraid to hurt me. Her kiss was what I needed at the time. I felt my mind clear and all I could focus on was the taste of her lips. She put her hand around my waist and pulled me closer. I felt my heart beating really fast and a feeling that I could not explain. I wanted more of her. I needed more. I started to kiss her on her neck, which smelled just like the rest of her, like lavender. Then someone knocked on my door and I pulled away from her. I felt my cheeks turning red as I told the person who was knocking to come in. It was my dad. Hey kiddo, how are you holding up? He asked. I'm surviving, I shrugged. I'm sure Kelly has been really helpful with that, he smiled slightly. My cheeks turned red as my mind betrayed me and went back to the moment. Yeah, I squeaked. That is good. Oh, and Piper? He said. Yes, Dad? When you're ready, maybe tomorrow. Daisy, he said. Of course, I nodded as he closed the door behind him. I turned to look at my friend and she was looking at me with wide eyes. If the situation wasn't so serious, I would be laughing at her right now, because it was quite the sight with her glasses. Neither of us said a word about what had just happened. She mumbled something about the bathroom and she sprinted all the way from me. The next morning when I got up, she was already packing her clothes. She told me that she would see me at Daisy's funeral, but she had to go because she had something she needed to do. I let her go because I had a lot on my mind that day. I had Daisy's funeral arrangements and I also had to think about the kiss as well. The kiss that I could not get out of my mind. I did not know what it meant, but I had felt different from all the times that I'd kissed guys. I felt some emotion that I could not shake. I could not stop thinking about her. That morning, it was like I was seeing her for the first time. I noticed everything about her. I craved her. But I was emotional. Maybe I just needed someone to comfort me, and she'd been there. We usually texted nonstop every day, but on that day, the texts were short. Things were awkward between us, and I wanted to talk about us. And to ask her what the kiss meant, I was so confused. When the time for Daisy's small funeral came, she was there. She held my hand as she lowered the little box that my dad had got for me, and she placed flowers on her grave, and held my hand as I said a few words about my pet. Afterward, she told me that she needed to go, but before she could, I asked her about the kiss. "Sorry about that, forget about it," she said, then she left. It left me puzzled. Was I just a mistake to her? I do not want to lie. The thought about it being a mistake hurt. I had thought that I was straight all my life. I had dated only guys ever since I started dating. But there has always been a feeling I got when I was with a guy, like something was missing. But then I was with her. I felt complete. What did this mean? The rest of the weekend went by quickly, and by Monday I was back at school and Kelly was acting odd. She was super jumpy. She was not avoiding me in any way, but when I touched her, she acted like I had electrocuted her. And when I looked at her, she turned red and looked away from me. I was not any better. Sometimes I caught her looking at me and my heart would start beating really fast. She made me feel nervous. When she was close to me, I was aware of everything. How she was breathing, her scent, everything. I felt as if I was a different person. That kiss made me look at my best friend in a new way, and I was not sure how I was going to figure out what was going on. So I decided to ask my mother for some advice, because she always gave good advice. "Mom, there is someone. I think I like them," I said. "Oh really? Who is that person?" she asked. "Nice try, I'm not going to tell you. We've been friends for a long time though." "So why am I only getting these feelings now?" I sighed. "Sometimes it happens that we like our friends as more than friends, and that is because you know them better than anyone else. And you're going to tell your friend?" she asked. "Hell no, what if they think I'm being weird? I do not want to ruin our friendship," I said. "Do what you want, sweetie. Maybe take a chance, or don't. It's up to you," she said. But I wanted advice. "I do not know what I want," I said. "No, I can't pressurize you to do what you are unsure of," she said. So I left, feeling like I hadn't gotten any answers at all. As I was walking down the street clearing my head, I was met with a sight that made my blood boil. Kelly was walking with this other redheaded girl that looked very familiar. I felt so jealous that I thought I was going to explode. They were laughing and their hands kept on touching. I turned on my heel and stormed back home, so she liked the red-haired. I hoped that it would start raining outside. Then they would have more fun on their walk. Why was she hanging out with someone else when she knew that I was there? Why was she laughing with her and holding her hand? It was not fair at all. I was supposed to be the one she was walking with. I paced up and down the room, very pissed off. Then I stopped in my tracks. I knew what I was feeling. I had never felt it to such an extent before. I was jealous because Kelly was walking with the redhead. Maybe they liked each other, and that was why they were together. Kelly did not like me in that way anymore. How could I have been so stupid? She had meant it when she said the kiss was a mistake. I should have taken her seriously and forgotten about the kiss, but now, here I was, very sad and heartbroken. I put on a romantic comedy and cried while eating some ice cream. The next day at school, I ignored her. I had nothing to say to her. She was free to be with her new girlfriend. I would not get in their way. I would just sit and wallow in self-pity. When I saw her, I would walk the other way, and when she texted me, I would not reply. She had a girlfriend. Better text her. Then she cornered me when I did not see her coming towards me. "Spit it out. What the hell is going on with you?" "You've been avoiding me today," she said. "I have not." I stuck my chin in the air. "Yes, you have." She raised an eyebrow. No, I persisted. She rolled her eyes. "You and I are gonna have a nice little chat today after school, okay?" she said as she let go of her grip on my hand. She was a tiny person, but she was so strong. So then I went to her house after school. We went straight up to her room and she gave me something to wear because it was scorching hot outside. When I came back from the bathroom, I found her sprawled out across her bed, doodling in her sketchbook. "So, I said. I did not know where to start. I was nervous." "You've been avoiding me," she said. "I did not want to get in the way of you and your new girlfriend," I said. She burst out laughing. Girlfriend? The red-headed girl you were walking with the other day. You're not dating her? I asked. Of course not. That was my cousin Eleanor. You remember her, right? She looked at me, eyes sparkling. She was very amused, and I felt like an idiot. She had told me that her cousin was visiting her, but I had rushed to conclusions, and now... I'm sorry, I blushed. I've had girlfriends before, and you've never grown distant because of that. Why this time? She asked me. I cannot stop thinking about the day when we kissed, I confessed. I'm so sorry I kissed you on that day. It made you uncomfortable, didn't I? She frowned. No, it's not that. Gosh, I couldn't say it. I messed up, didn't I? She said. I think I like you, okay? I shouted. I'd wanted to tell her that I liked her in a better way, with more words, but I'd just gone and blurted it out, and now she was going to reject me. She regretted kissing me. It would be no surprise if she didn't want anything to do with me after this. I stuttered out. I could not think of anything to say. She was looking at me as if I had just grown an extra leg. You like me? She asked. Yes, I said in a little voice. I like you too, she said. I tackled her and hugged her when she said that. She burst out laughing as we rolled on the bed together. I could not believe it. She felt the same way, and I had been overreacting. After a while, we stopped rolling about and sat down facing each other. Everything about her was beautiful. Her short brown hair with natural highlights from the sun, and her green eyes that were so intelligent. And her rosy lips. I looked up and I noticed that she was looking at my lips. We leaned over and our lips connected. Her kiss felt like the one that we had shared a few days ago. Perfect. She slowly ran her hands down my side as she kissed me. I cupped her soft cheeks as I leaned in closer to her. Soon I was lying on top of her. I traced her body, starting from her neck down to her collarbone. I touched her chest and I felt her heart was beating just as fast as mine. I pulled away and looked into her eyes. I saw nothing but adoration in her eyes. I had never had anyone look at me in that way before her. She tugged at my hair and pulled me back to her. We were on her bed, making out for a very long time, until sadly I had to go home. On the way home, I could not stop thinking about her. I'd taken so long to see her, but now I saw her and she was the brightest person in my life. She had always been the light of my life. There, for me during all the dark moments in my life. She had loved me and I had not seen it. But now my eyes were open, and I was not going to make the most of it. We decided to take things slow. It was my first relationship with a girl, and we had been friends for a long time since then. It took a lot of getting used to, calling her my girlfriend, but I was so proud to call her that. We had our first date a few months later. We had been saving up a long time so that we could go out. Both of our allowances were pitiful, but we managed to get the money soon enough. We had our date at a nice restaurant in a part of town where no one knew us. We decided that we would wait for a while before we told our parents that we were dating. Coming out is scary. I have no idea how my parents and hers would react to the news of our relationship. I hope that they will accept us for who we are. I do love her so much. She is the most adorable person, always making sure that I'm okay and fighting my battles for me even though she is the smaller one. We are young. Anything can happen at any time, but I am happy to say that I am in love with my best friend. She is honest and loyal. I hope that we will be able to stay together for a long time. I've been giving a lot of thought to coming out lately. I want to be able to introduce her to my family as my girlfriend. I'm so glad that I took a chance and confessed my feelings even though I was very terrified. I'm brave. I'm sure that I can tell my family that I'm in love with my best friend, and she will be by my side when I tell them. Let us hope that it goes well. The end. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome.